In this video we're going to have a look at functions, which are pre-programmed formulas that Excel has already programmed into it for you to use. Like any formula, a function starts with an equal sign, but after the equal sign we put the name of the function in, and then we open brackets and put what's called arguments in there. And the arguments are often cell references, or it could be another function nested inside a function. So there's a number of different things that the function could have as arguments. Let's have a look at a simple one. So we can put, for example, equals sum and open brackets, and this is a function to add things up. So if we put 2 cells in there, it'll add those 2 up. If we put 5 cells in there, it will add them up. To add in the cells, I can click and drag as I'm doing now, and it now says equals sum of C3 to C7. You can close the brackets, or you don't have to. You can just press enter or click on the tick, and that's it. It's added all of those up for me. I can do exactly the same thing, or I can achieve the same thing by clicking on the insert function button, and it's going to show me a whole lot of different functions that are available. These ones are the most recently used ones, but there's lots and lots of functions. In fact, there's hundreds of them. I'm going to select sum here and say OK. And then it's going to want to know, what do I want to add up? It's suggesting D3 to D7. As it happens, that is correct, but I could go and drag on them myself and then click OK. And there, that one's added that one up as well. One more way that we can use the sum function is on the Home tab. This button up here is the Auto Sum button. So if we click on that, now it might say Auto Sum next to it, but I've got my screen showing in a fairly small form now, and so it's saving space by not showing the words. But if I click on it, again it puts a sum function in, and it suggests which cells we might want to add up. That could be right or it could be wrong. It's probably right, but just check it. And if it's not right, then select the cells that you do want to add up. And again, just press enter or click the tick, and that's it. Alright, for these last couple, I'm going to use the fill handle. And click when I see the black cross. We've seen this before. Click and drag it across. And now I've got the sum function in all of these. Let's have a look now as to how we might add up the non-adjacent or non-contiguous cells. So I want to have a total for the eastern states here. That means I'm not going to want Western Australia or South Australia. So to sum those, I can use any of the methods I looked at before. I could use the equals sum, typing it in, or I could click on Home, click on the Auto Sum button. And now I'm going to select all of the Queensland, New South Wales and Victorian data. But I don't want the WA, I just want the Tasmania in there now. I'm going to hold down Control as I select, and now I can add up all of those ones. Just click on the tick and it's done. Let's have a look at how we can use some of the other functions that are available. Let's say I want to get an average state total. So for all of these state totals, I want to find what the average is. Now I could type in equals AVG and select those cells, or I could use the auto sum. It's not actually the auto sum, but the average that's available when we click on the drop down list there. Clicking on average, alright, it takes a guess at what I want to average. Now this time, because we're putting it somewhere that's a little bit far away from the data, it doesn't get it right, but that's okay. I can just click up here and drag across the ones that I want to average, and then click the tick. Same thing for the highest. So if I want to put the highest number from these ones in there, I'm going to go equals max, or once again I can click the drop down next to auto sum and go to max and drag across the ones that I want, click the tick, and there's the max. So that's this one here, and finally I'll get the smallest one. Again, click the drop down next to auto sum, choose min, drag across the ones that you want to find the smallest of, click the tick, and there it is, 841. Finally, let's have a look at a simple what if analysis. So what would happen to our total sales, for example, if we change some of the prices? So what if instead of a hammer costing $1.50, it cost $1.75? So what if I type in there 1.75? So the total sales is 2,915 at the moment. So if I press enter, it's now $3,147. So if we can charge $1.75 and still get the same sales, then our total goes up by a couple of $100. So those are the sorts of things you can do with spreadsheets. Change something and see what the effects of that are, and that's called a what-if analysis. So in this video we've learned how basic functions work, for example the sum including the auto sum button, and also how to find averages, maximums and minimums, and we've also looked at how to perform a what-if analysis.